Welcome back for another segment of Into the DCEU, where Christine and we explore all the DCEU properties. We currently got 12 of them. And this is our fourth segment where we reviewed Wonder Woman from 2017. Christine, would you like to start off or would you like me to start off on this one?
You can start off
Okay,
on it.
what I am going to do, I'm going to focus my reviews because I think I'm being too negative in my reviews. In fact, we recently got a comment about your review, how you didn't you focus too much on the negative. This is constructive criticism. Yes, you did mention good things. So Wonder Woman from 2017, 2 hours 21 minutes. Too long. I didn't like that. 93% certified fresh critic rating and an 83% audience score. So, what do I have to say about this? What can I say about that I like about this movie? I like that it's a Wonder Woman movie, because we haven't had one before. I like the island of Themyscira. That's great. We got Connie Nielsen as Wonder Woman's mother, Hippolyta, and we got Robin Wright as the general. And I can't pronounce her name. It's like, all I can think of is Demeter, but I know that's right. Antopy? I don't know. I can't pronounce that. Like those two. Chris Pine is in it as Steve Trevor. He's great. He's great. Danny Houston is in it. He plays Ludendorff. I don't really like that character that much. I do like the Dr. Monroe, Dr. Poison, okay, with the First World War mask. That looked cool. That's like a style of prosthetic mask that they had. At the beginning, there's a history of the gods and the Amazonians. I really enjoyed that. Unfortunately, they kept cutting away and showing two different things at the same time. It kept showing Kid Diana on there. I'm like, you don't need to do that. Just focus on the good stuff. I don't want to see this other crap about this kid. First World War, I enjoyed that. Okay, I think that was a good period to put it in, and it kind of shows that she's an older character and that she doesn't age, right? Because I guess she's immortal. Dr. Poison or Mask, I mentioned that. Oh, we see London, and it's hideous. Okay, I like that. I don't think London would have looked exactly like that. In First World War, you probably would have had more dirigibles, and it would have been even dirtier, because when they're on the streets, it would have been dirtier, but I like the look of it, and I enjoyed seeing that time period. Very conservative Edwardian period, like with the dresses and everything.
It seems like there weren't enough horses.
They do that. Well, in London, they were trying to get away from that, right? You didn't have many cars then.
No, there should have been way more horses.
But also, horses, leave manure everywhere,
I know, but
right?
they would have had a lot of horses.
Okay, but they do this fashion montage with her, and she's in this giant dress, and she's like, how do women fight in this? And I'm like, that's hilarious, okay?
But at that time during the war, the dresses were getting streamlined. The war changed all the fashion.
Oh yeah. But this is like they took her to like this upper high society department store or something in London.
Yeah.
And they put her in this dress at first, which is like a fancy dress for everyday business use or something. Anyway, it was funny. Now, and Ms. Candy. What's her name? What's the character's actual name there?
I don't know, the secretary lady.
Yeah, Ms. Candy there. She's great. She's absolutely great, and she's not even on this cast list here. Sure. She was really good, and she's actually a major supporting character in the Wonder Woman lore. I liked her, and I like that actress in that. Diana in a big purple dress. I do like the Wonder Woman costume, parts of it. The color scheme is great. When it's like bright red and gold and blue. However, and the boots, I don't know what they're called, but they're a special type of boot because they got seams in them, so she can move better. I'm all for that. I still think Wonder Woman should have pants. I mentioned that in our BVS review. But the colors, how it looks, great. The actress, well, I don't want to get into the bad things about it because I'm not that big fan of Gal Gadot. Use more acting lessons. The sword and shield that she uses, those magic items, love that. Okay. The lasso, the glowing lasso. Come on, that looked cool, right? At the end in the battle, oh, by the way, this is spoilers, of course, because this movie's from, 6 years ago? She does a bunch of lasso work when she's fighting Ares. That looked great. That part of the fight was really cool. I like that. The mercenary group, those guys were great. There was Samir, he's the best one. Charlie, and then there was the chief, played by Eugene Brave Rock. Great. Oh, it's Etta Candy. I found it here. The mercenary group was great. They showed Indian British troops, which there were definitely Indian Commonwealth troops in the First World War, even on the Western Front, in the trenches. And we've been seeing that in a lot of movies lately. Even though this movie's fiction, but we've seen it in other movies that are based on real life, like 1917. Anyway, great that they included that because there absolutely were Indian troops there fighting in the First World War, and they should definitely get credit and representation for that. Great First War action sequence and No Man's Land when she's crossing No Man's Land, and then she goes into the Belgian town of Veld or something like that. Anyway, and she's fighting all the Germans. It's great. I'm not exactly so keen on the Wonder Woman theme music that we got from Zack Snyder and BVS.
You need it more.
It's
more of it.
But you know, once they start playing that, it's like, okay, we're into hardcore action, and she's great in the action sequences. I really enjoyed that. She's like beating the crap out of all those German troops. Well, Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman have a little bit of a love encounter, let's say. I mean, it's for kids, so they don't show anything, but they have a nice dance, and then they get a night to, spend some quality time together. That was nice, especially for Steve Trevor. The lasso work at the end of the fight there. Yeah, I had fun with this movie. It's not a great movie. It's overall, it's kind of a dumb movie. But I had fun with it. I had some fun with it. It's not a complete dumpster fire or anything, okay? It had lots of fun parts in it, and it was a fun time. It's like Black Adam and Suicide Squad. It's a bad movie, but I had fun with it. You go. That's what I want to say because I'm just going to focus on the positive. I don't want to get into all the things I didn't like about it. What do you have to say on this, dear?
Well, I was really looking forward to having a Wonder Woman movie. Because when I was a kid, I had a Wonder Woman costume, I had the belt, I had the lasso, although no one taught me how to lasso. I had like the little headband. I was like all into Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman...
Did you have the traditional Wonder Woman costume?
Well, in like the late 70s, all they had was like a belt and a headpiece.
Oh, the tiara there?
It was something like that. I just remember the lasso
like a headdress?
Was like they didn't give me a shield or a sword, but I had a lasso and a
Because
belt.
there was a white Wonder Woman costume in the 70s.
Listen, the costumes that we had as kids when I was a kid were terrible.
Yeah, were terrible.
Okay?
But you're talking about it was based on, say, the Wonder Woman 77 TV show with Linda Carter.
Yeah.
Which Linda Carter's a legend.
So, anyway, I went to see this movie and I was very disappointed. Number one, right off the bat, the casting of Wonder Woman is very poor. To put a model, just because she's a model and she looks nice, and that's why they have her trying on all these dresses and stuff, it's just silly. That ruined the movie right off the bat.
The fashion montage?
No, putting a model that can't really act and only can do one weird accent, and then everyone has to talk in the same accent as her. I mean, very poor. Right off the bat, that decision started to tank the movie. Mm-hmm. So I would advise people, watch this movie up until the point where her and Steve Trevor are going to go get on a boat and then turn it off. That would be my advice. Just watch to that point. Okay. Because the rest of it just goes south. When they leave Themyscira, it's way too small. It's basically saying that the war is just about one guy. And somehow he has this superpower gas that they don't even get into. And they're going to the front, and all they need to do is get 6 guys in a trench and then go to a town and liberate it after killing 20 guys, and the Germans are right there in a castle next to it. It's so small. It's basically saying that the First World War was a tiny little argument in a tiny little place is basically what this movie is saying, controlled by one guy. It's like as if he's like a gangster or something and they got to infiltrate his gangster house. Okay. Essentially. So yeah, I just...
You seem to be focusing on the negative. Think about positive things that you like about this movie.
I said, watch until they go to get on a boat and then turn it off.
It's
I
like
like
the
the
first
first
20
part
minutes.
of the movie. The rest of it is so silly. It's just silly. And I think it just is such a disservice to Wonder Woman. And yeah, I don't like it. No. I like that first 20 minutes or whatever it is until they get on the boat, and then she tanks after that. That's my review.
Do you like David Lewis as Ares?
It doesn't make sense. Everyone can get to the front so quickly too. You just gotta take a little boat and you're there. I don't know. And the fact that Ares would be just a man also is silly. He would be someone controlling the people. He wouldn't be the guy that's signing off on the documents.
He's a powerful politician.
It's silly. It's silly.
I don't think... Okay, I agree. I'll concede. Yes, the story could have used more work. Okay?
Isn't that what a movie is? The casting is wrong and the story tanks after they leave the mascara. So,
what characters did you like in this? We already established you don't like the Wonder Woman character as it's portrayed here. Did you like Steve Trevor? Chris Pine as Steve Trevor?
He's fine. Okay. But his character doesn't make much sense because he's an American. But yet he reports directly to the British Parliament. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't make any sense. He wouldn't have he would be in the American, he would report to America. It doesn't make sense why
he could be on loan to the British military.
There,
that happens.
That was also a poor casting decision. They should have put a British guy in there or had his superiors being the Americans or something.
But Steve Trevor is supposed to be American. He's an American character.
It doesn't make sense why he was reporting to this British lord guy. It makes no sense. Anyway, and it's so small, the whole world of this.
What about the Themyscirans? Did you like the portrayal of Themyscirans?
That's fine. They all had to try to put on the fake accent to try to mimic Gal Gadot's accent.
As I'm trying to put facts into these...
that part.
Apparently for this, Gal Gadot, as an actress, can only do an Israeli accent.
Well, that's her own voice.
Yeah, that's her native tongue. So apparently she can only do that, and so her other accents aren't very good. So to get around that, what they did was they made all the Themyscirians have an Israeli accent.
Some of them almost sound like they're Slovakian or something. They have like they're trying their best. Anyway, I don't know. They all have a little bit different accents.
Did you like Robin Wright in this?
I said yes, fine.
She looks great.
Watch that part until they go to leave Themyscira.
What about Connie Nielsen as Queen Hippolyta?
Sure. I still don't...
She looks amazing, and she does a great job.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know why she
and
doesn't
then
want her daughter to fight.
All the other Themyscirans are like MMA fighters.
Yeah, that's fine. Watch that part. That part's fine.
But as soon as they leave the island and go to London, you're like, this sucks.
It's so convoluted and small.
I didn't find this movie that convoluted. Okay, it's not like BVS.
No, but it's just so silly. It's so tiny that the war is basically as if it was like a drug lord in a house and you have to get to him and take him out.
Okay.
That's essentially what this movie was.
Yes, I concede the way they portrayed the scale in this movie was not good. Okay?
Oh, it didn't make sense.
Okay. Hey, they did their best.
Anyway,
that's
my take on it. Watch till they leave Themyscira, then turn it off.
Okay. What ranking would you give this movie?
I give it a 53.
So it's still more positive than negative then.
I like that part until they left, but it's bad.
But nothing else.
No, because it's just really dumb.
Yep.
After that. That's all I can say. It's really dumb.
I'm really upset about this.
No, I'm telling you, you're asking my opinion. I was excited about the movie. I went to see it, and I thought it was not good.
Okay, that's fair. On the internet rating system of best worst movie, I considered it giving a bad review. I'm going to give it best movie ever. Okay, because it's a bad movie, but I had fun with it.
It's a bad movie,
but I had fun with it. Now I'm trying in each one to put in some more facts about these things. Now, last time I did mention how with Suicide Squad, the controversy around that was Warner Brothers, that management at the time, okay, which has since been removed a couple times removed now. What they did, the final cut of the movie, the theatrical cut, was actually cut by the trailer company. And that's why in the movie, in Suicide Squad, when it introduced the characters and it was like, here's their name, here's their pros, here's their cons, here's their habits. That was actually copied from the recent Transformers movie at the time. I believe it was Transformers 5, which was god-awful.
They're terrible movies.
Okay? And so they wanted it to
Bumblebee.
be fun and poppy, and they released a trailer for it. The first trailer that came out, it was funny and fun, but then what they realized was all the jokes were in the trailer from the movie. So they had to go back and reshoot and try to put more jokes in, and that movie wasn't as fun. Now this one, okay, so this was directed by Patty Jenkins. I think she did a pretty good job on this, and I had a fun time with it, and a lot of people liked it based on the ratings. Now, the best part about this movie is, you know who was in the media at the time after it came out? James Cameron was doing his media rounds because he was promoting the 3D version for Terminator 2 Judgment Day re-release.
Right, and I do remember agreeing with James Cameron on what
So,
he said.
He talks, so as James Cameron, famous Canadian, is known to do, he likes to talk trash in the media. He's always putting his foot in his mouth. It's hilarious. So, anytime I can. So, he said some crap. So, according to an article from Variety, here's what James Cameron said when he was asked about Wonder Woman. He said, all the self-congratulatory backpatting Hollywood's been doing over Wonder Woman has been so misguided. He told the outlet in an interview to promote the Terminator 2 Judgment Day re-release, she's an objectified icon, and it's just male Hollywood doing the same old thing. Then he goes on and says, I'm not saying I didn't like the movie, but to me, it's a step backwards. He continued, Sarah Connor was not a beauty icon. She was strong, she was troubled, but she was a terrible mother, and she earned the respect of the audience through pure grit. And to me, the benefit of characters like Sarah is so obvious. I mean, half the audience is female.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with him. That's why I didn't like it. They cast someone just because of what she looks like, not because of what she can do. And Wonder Woman is supposed to be a tough old broad, and she's not in this. Casting someone like Brie Larson or someone would have been a lot better. I totally agree with him. I agree with him then. I agree with him now.
Yeah.
That just turned me right off.
People didn't like him saying this at the time
Why
because
not?
he was essentially
Well, listen,
mansplaining feminism to everyone.
People versus women. Women. I totally agree. And that pissed me off right in the beginning.
I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm just saying he pissed a lot
And
of
they
people
put
off
a
at the time.
fashion show in it on top of things.
Okay, get this. This article goes on. Director Patty Jenkins addressed those concerns in an interview with Los Angeles Times in May, telling publications, I get frustrated by people who think that they're defending Wonder Woman by trying to make her lesser. When people get super critical about her outfit, who's the one getting crazy about what a woman wears? That's who she is. That's Wonder Woman. I want her to look like my childhood fantasy. So I guess she had a big thing to do with the costume? The director, Patty Jenkins? Yes.
Nothing. It's not specifically about the costume. It's about the casting. It's about the fashion show. That takes a giant part of the movie, the fashion show. It's ridiculous.
It's like 2 minutes.
No, it's just... I know. I totally agree with James Cameron.
Okay. You want to know what made this story even better? Is that then in his next interview, after people got pissed off in the media at him, and there was a lot of backlash,
Men.
they went... No, a lot of women. It was mostly
Not
women.
This woman.
So, then in this next interview, they're like, James Cameron, you didn't really mean that crap you said about Wonder Woman, right? And James Cameron is classic James Cameron. He's like, oh yeah, hold my beer. I got this. And he's like, not only did I mean that, but here's some more. Let me tell you what else he said.
I would have said the same.
He said this. This is what James Cameron's quote. There are many women in power in Hollywood, and they do get to guide the shape what films get made. Cameron said, I think, no, I can't account for it, because how many times do I have to demonstrate the same thing over again? I feel like I'm shouting in a wind tunnel. He went on, it's not in this article, but he actually did say more crap, and
I don't think it's crap.
he just kind of acknowledged that he stuck his foot in his mouth, and that he came off as being too harsh, because he's James Cameron, and he's always, like, bashing his ex-wife and stuff like that.
I don't think so. I think he's totally right. This is the problem with the movie. And then they went and made a second one.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Which is even more of a turd burger.
Spoiler alert, I enjoyed the second one more than I did the first one.
Anyway.
And I know I'm in the minority, but I just think it's
They
hilarious.
don't have Themyscira in the second one, so.
No, they do.
Well,
They have a
not like that.
flashback to when she was a
It's
kid. They bring back Kid
terrible.
Diana.
It's bad. Anyway, it's bad.
Okay, see, you got your mind made up about these movies all the
I
time.
don't. I was really excited to watch this movie, and then I watched it, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Okay,
Still going through this in this day.
you want to know what the next one that we're gonna watch is? The next one we're gonna watch is 2017's Justice League. This is the theatrical version that's by Joss Whedon. And spoiler, people don't like this one that much. So
haven't
we'll
seen
get
that
into
one.
that. But you haven't seen that one, so don't make up your
Ooh,
mind on it
fun.
yet. But we're not watching the Zack Snyder one because it's like 4 hours long.
Well, so far, Suicide Squad is my favorite one.
Yeah, so let's rank it so far, okay? So, what's at the bottom for you? Of the 4 movies we've watched, which is the worst?
The Superman movie.
Man of Steel for you? Then
Yeah.
what's up from that?
I don't know. Then I think this one, maybe.
Wonder
I don't
Woman?
know. Probably this
Okay,
one.
then
it's
what?
kind of tied with the Batman versus Superman. I don't know.
If
They're
you had to
kinda
pick
tied
one,
for-
gun to your head, which one's better, which one's worse? BVS or Wonder Woman?
BBS is better.
Okay, so you got Man of
This is
Steel,
not good.
Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
then you got BVS, and then you put Suicide Squad at the top.
Suicide Squad because
It's the
got
best
it.
so far for you.
It's consistent.
And it's fun. And it's a simple story.
Consistent.
It's a simple story. It does have some stuff that doesn't make much sense.
Make me mad.
Okay, here's my ranking so far on the 4 we've watched. At the bottom, I got BVS. I've seen this movie probably like
I don't know
at least
why.
a dozen times,
It's
and
not
I don't
gonna get any
understand.
better.
For me, it's at the bottom.
Okay.
And then I got, probably Wonder Woman. Okay, I did have some fun with it, but I had more fun with Suicide Squad. That's number 2 for me because there's some good stuff in it. And even though it's not a great movie, I had some fun with it. And there's some cool cameos. And there's a bunch of good things in it. And then I got Man of Steel, which I really enjoy. Because that's one of my favorite DC movies. Now, what do you think about Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman movie from 2017? Are you a big fan of it? Were you disappointed by it like Christine was? Or do you hate it more than Christine does? Do you want to hear more of Christine rant about this movie? I don't know. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And thank you for joining us for another segment of Into the DCEU. We'll see you for the next one next week.